We'll be continuing now with 3 other types of bends, and at the end of learning those, we'll combine them with that 3-note pattern. Let's go. The next type of bend we're going to learn is a simple bend up and down. We're going to add on to the bend we did in the previous lesson. Let's take a look. First I'll play it, and then I'll explain how it's done. Again, thumb over the neck, 3 fingers on an angle, little finger out, first finger raised slightly, bend up into pitch by rotating, but on the way down, rotate backwards. In other words, I go up this way and I simply drop the tension on the string by rotating down, as opposed to bending up and then dropping my fingers down. Some things to watch out for are, if you don't press on the way down, the note will die out. Straight up, straight back. I call that a bend up and down. So the first bend we learned was a bend and hold. The second bend, a simple bend up and down. Now we're going to look at another bend which is a little awkward to do. It involves a technique with the right hand. And this is where I bend up and then go to the 5th fret 3rd string. But in doing so, at the top of the bend, I mute the string, that is the 3rd string, with the right hand, so that when I let go, no sound is heard. So we bypass the sound of a bend up and down, in other words. Let's take a look at the right hand now and see how that works. When I bend up, I need to place the thumb on top of the vibrating string in order to mute it out. Now, it may look like the pick is touching the string to mute it, but in actual fact, the pick simply goes between the 3rd and 2nd string, in between where the pickups sit, of course, and my thumb mutes the string out as I drop down onto the string. Again. Now, when I release the bend with the left hand, which of course you can't see now, and I place my finger on the 3rd string, once I'm there, I just do an upstroke and play the string. Now there are a few things to avoid and watch out for. Once again, don't just mute with the pick. Mute by putting your thumb there on top of the string. Now one problem some people have is they do this. They mute with the thumb, then they lift their thumb off, then go to the 5th string, 5th fret, sorry, not 5th string, and then they play the note. Now, that may be fine at first if you think that we don't have any effects on, like overdrive or the amp at a high volume. But with high volume amplification, you often get feedback, and your thumb and fingers often shield the strings from that sound. So in this case, we want to thumb on, let go, straight up. In this, our last bend, or 4th bend, we're going to mute the string with the right hand, as I demonstrated in the previous example, and we're going to bend the string up using our thumb, fingers, little finger out, bend technique, twisting up, and we're going to play the note and drop it down. It's almost, you could call a silent bend or a ghost bend. Once again, I mute with the right hand, and I bend up, and I rotate it down like this. Now, what's rather difficult to understand is when you mute the string, you have no frame of reference with your ears to tell how far up you should bend. So, if you've got used to bending a string to the proper pitch that we mentioned earlier, which should be like this note, you have to rely on a kind of a muscular memory to guide you with how far to bend. Kind of tricky, but you'll get used to it after a while. You mute and think, I think that's the amount of pressure I apply to the string. And you drop it down. In that case, I don't think I did. It has to be a little bit more. No, that was fine. And then we can just round this off by going to the 5th fret and then the 7th fret, 4th string. Just shapes the phrase nicely. One more time, the 4th bend, and then a quick rounding off. Now I'm going to show you a nice little trick that's often used in leads. It's called an octave jump. It's where you play a note like this, and we're going to go to this note as an extra note in the scale. Here, 5th string, 6th fret, and we're going to do a little slide. Again, bends and slides really add a nice effect to the soloing. So here, we'll pause a bit, then we'll play here with our first finger, that's the 5th string, 3rd fret, middle finger here, 6th string, 5th fret, and then our 3rd finger slides on the 4th string from the 5th fret to the 7th. Let me play it up to speed. Sounds quite bluesy, but it's a nice effect as a phrase. Now I'm going to show you the 3-note pattern we started with, and I recommend you try doing this as an exercise. We'll do a 3-note pattern, and we'll do each of the 4 bends, and then we'll conclude with our octave jump. Here we go. Few things to watch out for. Once again, at the end of our 3-note pattern, our fingers are apart. We don't want to bend with our fingers apart. We'll have problems collecting those strings. So we squash, hit the note again and bend and hold. Fingers together, bend up and down. Remember to press on the rotational downstroke to get a sound. And then our mute, let go, there. This is difficult. We get to the top of the 3-note pattern, we mute, bend, all in the twinkle of an eye. We have to do this really quickly to make it smooth. Then our octave jump. A few things about the octave jump. When you use this finger, it's a little bit better than using this finger because that produces an awkward stretch to get to like that. So we're here, same finger, 6th fret, 5th string, and round it off. One more time. That should give you a lot to practice and start to give you a feel that you're actually making up some lead solos.